Hello, everyone. It's Sandra, and we are back for another Ask a Haitian. As you know, May is Haitian Heritage Month, and we're always looking to talk to our Haitian brothers and sisters across the diaspora. So today, we have something I think that most people think Haitians know how to swim. So when I found out that the founder of this organization was Haitian, I know I wanted to reach out to her. So we have Paulana, pronouncing it correctly, right? Paulana
Yes.
from Black People Will Swim. And I love that name because it's very intentional that Black people will swim. So, Paulana, can you just tell us a little bit about you, where you're from, and tell us what it was like growing up Haitian in your household?
Yeah, so my name is Paulana Lamonier. I'm the founder of Black People Will Swim, a mission-based organization created to encourage and empower people to conquer their fears and learning how to swim. We were established in 2019, and to date, I think we've taught about 400 people during the height, starting from COVID to now. So, and we are gearing up for a summer session. So, with that said, me growing up as a Haitian American woman in a Haitian household, so I'm first generation, which I think it's important to mention because there are vast differences with growing up in Haiti and coming here to the States versus having your parents growing up in Haiti, coming to the States, and then being a first generation. So I'm proud of my heritage, where I come from, and really excited to get into this interview. So thank you for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome. So you did mention a key point. I too am first generation Haitian, and I think that's something that, Haitians are not a monolith, and I think we all have to take each other's experiences into account. So as a first generation Haitian, how was your household? Were you taught Creole? Did your parents assimilate? Because I think that also makes the difference. Whereas in my household, there was no assimilation. It was a very
Yeah.
much a very Haitian household in the house, and then you lived in America when you weren't in the house. So how was your household environment like?
Yeah, mine was very similar to yours. I grew up with my parents, mom and dad, and my grandmother. So they were strict. They did not play about that. I went to a private Christian school as well. So imagine the added security that you had, especially not growing up in a strict household, but also in a Christian household. So it's l'école la caille l'église,
Listen,
you
the Haitian
know?
motto, if it ain't lick on la caille it ain't it. It's the three
It's
L. You
listen, it's
got
the way
to.
of life. It's the way of life. So that was pretty much my upbringing. Now, my parents have definitely relaxed, but a lot of their morals have been, implemented. Of course, the motto, you take what you want and you leave the rest, or you eat meat, leave the bones. So of course there's some things that I just don't get down with. But I think for me, growing up in that household, it implemented a lot of discipline, the importance of like, you know, having an incredible work ethic. Our Haitian people work really hard, but I think to a default, like work, they like to overwork. And so that's one of the things that I've had to unlearn as an entrepreneur, as a first generation entrepreneur as well. And then also just learning how to take criticism with a grain of salt. You have a business like this. Some people are not a fan of it. They're not welcoming to the name. And so we just got to make sure that we see the vision and we follow it through.
Awesome. So speaking of the name of your organization is Black People Will Swim. So first of all, you have Black in there. As someone who works in the communications and marketing space, I know names are important, the branding. So what made you decide, one, to put Black in the name, and then being intentional with Will Swim? Because you could have put Black People Can Swim or Black People Swimming Group or something to that effect. So what led you to name your organization in such a way?
That is such an important question because it's not a matter of whether we can or we can't. All people have the ability to swim. It's a matter of will. Black people have endured so much, not even just in the United States, but the diaspora as a whole, especially because racism is just literally international. And so, however, this is Black people just drown at higher rates than any other race. We drown 7.6 times higher than white children between the ages of 10 to 14. And then also Black children, the drowning is the number one rate for children between the ages of 1 and 4. So this was really a call to action, really just reminding people that we can swim, but will we swim despite the obstacles, despite the disparities, and despite there being so many challenges ahead. So we essentially present ourselves as a solution to those challenges. We make swimming accessible, we make it affordable, and then we make it educational.
That's great to hear. So I saw that your swimming classes are sold out for the summer. So can you tell us a little bit of how your organization works? Like if I wanted to learn how to swim, surprisingly, I don't know how to swim. My mother was very overprotective to a fault. So anything
Mm.
that would involve me semi-dangerous, she was not going to let me do it. So how if I wanted to learn how to swim, someone else wanted to learn how to swim, how would they get in contact with your organization? Like, how do you overcome that obstacle? Because you're saying, these drowning rates make sometimes it has the opposite effect. It makes people scared, right? So instead of wanting to learn how to swim, they're like, oh no, let me not go do this because folks are drowning.
Right. I think that's a valid point. So, two things I wanted to mention. So, we sold out for our spring session, but we're not sold out for the summer session.
Okay.
So, summer session is happening. We start on Wednesday, July 5th to Saturday, August 12th. That's number one. Number two, to your point, a lot of Black parents they react to that. They have this mentality of, because you don't know how to because I don't know how to swim, I'm not going to put you in a predicament where if something happens to you, my will do. And so, but that should be the opposite. Because you don't know how to swim, I should make sure that I know how to swim so that I can save you in the event that something does happen. I can do CPR. I can swim in the ocean. I can swim at the beach or at the pool. Boom, that I can save you. So we really have to stop thinking from an area of lack and start seeing it from an opportunity where to learn, right? But the thing with people, I wouldn't even say people, our Haitian people, they hate we hate being vulnerable. Debile nou pa konon bay, we don't want to tell people or show people that we don't know anything. We'll put up this front as if we do, and then ask you, do you know? And then clown you for not knowing that. You see? So it's just like
Hmm.
we have to make sure that it is okay to be vulnerable. It's okay for us to not know something and us taking that opportunity for us to, make a change. It is important. And I think is that stereotype or that misconception that because we are island people, we know how to swim. But there are country people in the islands who don't know how to swim. My grandmother is from the country as well, so and she doesn't know how to swim. So of course, those who live around the coast, around the borders, they have that opportunity. But a lot of them is self-taught. And so, but we in America have that luxury and the opportunity for us to have local pools. So I think it's important for us to drive this point home that it is important that we learn how to swim because our lives are at stake.
I think you mentioning that point that just because we're island people doesn't necessarily mean we know how to swim, right? Because I think folks don't also realize the full geography of Haiti. So just because
Yes.
I live on an island doesn't mean I live near the beach. The beach, if you live in the mountains, that's a 2-3 hour drive on, a rocky road. I'm not going to the beach for what?
Qui est-ce qui est comme ça?
Right? I live
Right.
in New Jersey and it's a 2 hour drive to the shore. Well, I think the closest beach is probably maybe an hour from me, 55 minutes. And even I am just like, do I feel like making that drive? So you could
Right.
live somewhere with bodies of waters or pools and just not have that access to it. So can you also speak to just being a Haitian? You mentioned like being a first generation Haitian entrepreneur. How did your parents take that? I know sometimes, depending on your upbringing, your parents want you to have your traditional doctor, lawyer, engineer, nurse profession. But here you go talking about you want to teach people how to swim, not just people, Black people how to swim. Like, how was that conversation, or did you just do it and ask for forgiveness later?
Well, here's the thing. I didn't ask them for forgiveness. I just started and I told them what it was, and they shared with me their opinions. Their opinions were, providing feedback or, oh, kind of trying to change my opinion or trying to change how I do things. But I think at the end of the day, with our parents, if it's successful and is doing well and is not putting yourself in danger, it's fine by me. That's how my parents viewed it. So once they started to see the success of us being on the news, being in newspapers, being on television, and then also saw the support that we were getting and the money that we were raising and us being profitable, They were like, well, you know what? Get a TV sa kono tibai. Kono
You know, a little
tibai.
something, something.
And you know how they are too. Depuis lo bon, they're like, oh, c'est petit pas moi, ou connaît ça, c'est comment me gérer, li, me lever comme ça.
Right?
It's
Même
just
si
like,
belle
wait, hold
savvy.
up. I'm like, hold up, how you taking credit for you wasn't really feeling this, you know? But luckily, I mean, I won't say that wasn't completely not the case of my parents, but it did take a bit of convincing. But I let my work ethic and the results do the convincing. I'm not in the business of convincing people why they should believe in my vision. To this day, some people are saying, "Oh, how's your little business doing?" It's doing great, but it's not little. Okay, it's doing
Right?
great. Put some
Awesome.
respect on it.
Nice. And so, as we know, May is Haitian Heritage Month. So, I wanted to know from like your Haitian perspective, how has it been? Have you worked with other Haitian organizations? Have you partnered with businesses? Does being Haitian, you know, adjust your worldview when it comes to business practices? I think even for myself, some of the work that I get to do, people just assume you're black, and it's like, yes, I'm black, but I'm also Haitian, right? So I might have a different perspective. I might look at things a certain way. So it has any of that colored like how you go about your business or how you walk into like different rooms?
I will say, like, for me, it definitely brings a sense of pride and understanding, and just that level of understanding that we are not cut from the same cloth, that everyone's experiences are different. So it definitely impacts how I teach as well. I'm nosy. I like to ask questions and really get an understanding of why they're here, what led them to our program. And what's great is that a lot of our students are Haitian. It's a lot of them, and so my community really rallies behind what we're doing. They see the importance, and I'm glad that we're able to feel the love but also provide the same, making sure that it's reciprocal as well. It's reciprocated.
Nice. Love to hear it. So let's fast forward. It's 5 years from now. Where would you like to see, and not even 5 years, listen, the way the world is going, 2024 could be a whole different. So, what is your vision? We all have our plans, but God has the final say. But if what would you like to see out of Black people will swim in the coming months and years?
I really would like for us to have our own building where we are, providing lessons year round, and not in a space where we're renting from other people and having to answer to them as well. Additionally, I really see us hiring, certifying, and really teaching more people not only how to swim, but how to be professionals, aquatics professionals. The numbers are disproportionate. If it's disproportionate on the learning to swim level, imagine how disproportionate they
Mhm.
are on the aquatics professional level, as far as swim instructors, lifeguards, Black owned swim schools. There's only but so many of us, and then so many of us that are operating at this level. So while we are a small business, we really try to operate on a grand level where we are trying to service a lot of people. To put this into perspective, we have 220 people currently enrolled in our spring program with a wait list of 140 people. So that goes to show that we are filling a need and people want to learn how to swim. They just were never considered top of mind when it came down to learning to swim. We weren't considered we weren't the main demographic. So now there's a company here that is making us a priority. We're going to flock, we're going to support. And most importantly, we're going to patron this business. And I want to keep people and remind people as well that there should be a little bit of grace extended to small businesses that are servicing such a large number of clientele. I think that people, and my community does it very well, but I think there is also room to grow that, that as a small business that is servicing 220 people, that there's only but so much we can do. And we only have eight. Well, me and now I got to work 12 hours a day, but not to ramble, but that's what I want to make sure that I leave with people at home.
Nice. And just the last question that I did have with you, you never know where this video might end up, who might share it. So if you were going to give a bit of advice, whether it's personal advice or professional advice to a budding Haitian entrepreneur or just, Haitians in general that are just thinking a little bit outside of the box. I work in the creative space, you're swimming. So I like for our people to see that there are other options. needs. Now, of course, money is a major thing. Bills aren't going away. But even if it is something on a hobby, right? If you had the privilege and this was just a hobby for you and it wasn't a job, what advice would you give to someone that, they have this inkling for something, they see a need and they're just trying to figure out how to fill it? What advice would you give them?
I think the advice is in the question is filling a need. What is it that your community needs, and how are you providing or becoming that solution to that need? That is literally one of the best ways to do business. You find a problem, you present a solution, and not just that, a convenient solution where everyone has access to. Maybe not everyone, but people have access to it. People will remember it, and people will always go back to it, so that you'll still have returning customers. So I think that's really what it comes down to us. We saw a problem. This problem has been withstanding in our community for far too long, and we are simply bringing it to the forefront and reminding people of the stats, reminding people of what we provide, and reminding people what to do in the event that you can't come to us. How can you have this impact in your community?
Amazing. So before we close, can you just let us know how we can find you? Like, what's your Instagram? What's your website? How can people get in touch with you, whether they want to learn how to swim, or maybe there's some certified lifeguards out here who want to, help out, or maybe they want to teach people how to swim as well. How can they get in touch with you?
So you can get in touch with us over at blackpeoplewillswim.com. That's us across all channels, all platforms, everywhere. And then with me, I am at ITS. It's Paulana. That's me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, the works, TikTok. It's Paulana, and Black People Will Swim.
Awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today.
Thank you.